another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Hey, and hello. Hello. What's going on? To all of my tea sippers, my crumpet dunkers, my tea brewers, my pot stirrers, and my tea leaf readers, honey. What's your tea? What is your tea, darling? It's another glorious day, honey. And I know you have all of your crumpets together, darling, because I know you know what time it is, honey. It is time to dish tea, and you are dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. What's happening, babies? What's happening? Listen, it's going to be one of those kind of shows today. We may have a short show this evening. Aunt Nikki and I, honey, we have been running this morning. We had a meeting today with the College Park Citizens Association that was early this morning. I'm trying to get the light right because I don't want to turn on the overhead light. But no, that's too dark. Okay. That's kind of cute. Y'all like my little silhouette, honey? Am I giving y'all a little silhouette? Ooh. But we had College Park Citizens Association meeting today, which was an absolute fabulous meeting. If you guys did not, for those of you who are here in Atlanta and citizens of College Park and did not come out to the meeting and you missed a treat, please go to cpcaga.com. Again, CPCA for College Park Citizens Association, GA for Georgia.com. And go there. It should have posted up there in our events category. And also, you get to find out more about us. You get to get membership information and all of that, honey. We would love to have you to come on board. In addition, we talked to our interim chief of police, Charis McCreary, honey, and that there was wonderful because we're campaigning for her to get the position to be the chief of police. That would be our very first, I believe, the first Black chief, and then yes, she's female, so the first Black female chief, period. Okay, the College Park has ever had a chief of police. We already have our very first Black and our very first Black female mayor. So what would that be to have the mayor, our city manager is Black and female, and to have the police chief be Black and female as well? That would, please, that's a trifecta right there. That would be absolutely just stunning for the city, and to see female leadership and Black girl magic and all of that, just reign supreme. So that's what we're doing right now. That's something on my lip. Okay, I think I just got it. Okay. Anywho, nonetheless, that was that. So it's been one of those days, she didn't get no sleep. I was up and down all night, tossing and turning and things, and I think I know why. I told y'all, if you were listening to the show yesterday, my sister is, processing the idea that she's losing her best friend. And so right now, it's all about just waiting for the call because Christina has stomach cancer. And what the hell did I do to my lip? Okay. Everybody, the doctors have diagnosed that it has spread very fast. and it's spreading so fast to where they can't treat it anymore. So right now, they're just providing her, comfort care so that she can transition easily, So that's kind of bumming us out. May 22nd, which just happens to be tomorrow, Sunday. That's my mom's birthday. She would have been 72 had she still been here, but we lost her back in November. So when I posted on Mother's Day, I post a picture up and stuff. I knew that we were going to have a time. So May is starting to become one of those months that become very difficult because it's Mother's Day and it's my mother's birthday. And the thing of it is, I'm concerned about my sisters. I'm concerned about my nieces and nephews. I'm also concerned about my mother's best friend because my mother's best friend, her birthday is May 23rd, the day after. So I'm going to have to get Auntie Glenda a call to see what's going on, make sure she's going to pull through and all of that kind of jazz, So it's one of those kinds of situations. So I have just been up and down last night trying to toss and turn and thinking I'm getting some really good sleep and was what I thought was really good sleep, honey. I was only out for like an hour and a half. Woke up, child. It's still dark. And so we're going through those particular changes. So yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What we got over here? Hey, Miss Dixon is in the house. What's going on, Carlon? Atlanta, Cass, New York. What up, Doe? Detroit. What's happening, baby? Okay. Hey, Big Meat, Sarah Reich and Terry Dexter have a new song out. You ain't woofing if you ain't hoofing. And they went big band on us. Yay. Really? I'm going to have to go check that out, honey. You ain't woofing if you ain't hoofing, honey. Come on now. That there is the T. Y'all know I love music and carrying on. And E-Grooves, honey, is my music connoisseur over here. And things of that nature. She sent me a terabyte, honey, for the music that I have still getting through and carrying on. I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet, but baby, we got some jewels on here that is absolutely to scream for. All right, so let's see. Let me get into the show. Before we do, wait a minute, I want to make sure that I plug a couple of things. First off, let me do this. Y'all see this flyer right here, honey? September 11th, 2022. My car club, Passionate Riders, okay? Passionate Riders, car club. And we also have a ministry portion, Passionate Riders Outreach Ministries. Well, the ministries is relatively new, but the car club itself, we're celebrating our first anniversary, darling. This is our first anniversary as a new car club. Well, I'm still new to the car club scene, but most folks are not new to the scene. We're just a new club. We formed. We were someone else, and then we had some internal stuff that we couldn't fix, and so we come out and formed our own. So this is Passionate Riders Car Club, and we're having our very first anniversary, and we're having a prom, honey. It's gonna be a night to remember, as you see. So we are crowning a prom king and a prom queen. But I'm going to tell y'all need to come in as a couple because we're not going to do, separate kings and separate queens. If you're coming in as a couple, we're going to submit you as the couple because I thought about that and I was like, child, we don't need no drama, especially if it's two different car clubs and carrying on and the king is from one club and the queen is from another club and y'all happen to be married to two different people or whatever the case may be. I did not want that damn drama. So what we're going to do is we're going to select couples that come in that's going to run for the prom king and the prom queen. And everybody else is going to get a chance to vote. And when they vote, darling, then we will crown them. We got some cute little crowns coming, honey. Okay. So there was that again. Go to eventbrite.com to get your tickets or your bands. Because, in the car club world, y'all know the little wristbands that a lot of kids wear, silicone little bands. That's what we have. And to get you in, we're having dinner and everything, honey. That's going to be a $50 ticket, honey. So we got dinner, dancing. We may have special guest entertainment. So it's going to be a full night, okay? As you see, from 6 to 10. Come on in, honey. We'll have pictures and everything. So it's going to be a fun night. And if you are your card club, honey, of course, we want all the card clubs that fuck with us to come on out. And if you want to fuck with us, come on out and to celebrate in our 1 year anniversary. Here, right here, y'all see this right here? Mixed106radio.com, honey. Every Wednesday from 10 to 12 p.m., you will find me here, honey, with DC, okay? The conductor of the money train, honey, over there. DC and I are doing everything College Park on Wednesdays, and the South Side, honey. Letting you see our South Side pride, honey, is what we're titling that. So every Wednesday, honey, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is internet radio. So you see www.mixx106radio.com. That there is the link. That's where you find us from 10 to 2. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to 12, rather. 10 to 12. 10 to 12. I said 2. 10 to 12. 2 hours, baby. We're over there and doing the thing. So I want you guys to come over there and to have some fun with us, because we talk a lot of that is a lot of politics and businesses, supporting Black-owned businesses and carrying on and that kind of jazz. So, honey, you would get a kick out of that. You understand? So, bada boom, bada bing. What we got? Thank you and condolences, Big Meech. I'm not good with death because it never did make sense to me. The only thing that does in time like this is that there's a loving God in heaven waiting to greet us. Well, come on now. I like that. I like that. Thank you, darling. I appreciate you. Okay, so now let's get into today's show. I was hoping Nikki was going to be able to come on in because we're going to cover her topic today. We were trying to get to it yesterday, but child, sleep was coming down on me and stress had got to me. And y'all saw me. I was just not in it. I was trying to, and I just couldn't stay in it, honey. But that's okay. It happens to me from time to time. And when it does, I have to, the gag is, okay, I have to shut it down sometimes. Okay. And call it grace. So her topic is about what do you do when you've done the work? You've done all the work to get yourself together, to fix yourself, to get your life in order. You're ready to get back out on the scene and this, that, and the other, to step back into life abundantly. How do you do it? Because you spend so much time in isolation or whatever, trying to do the work to get your internal together, to where now it's like, okay, what do I do to get back out here? And so we were going to cover all of that, and I was going to give some suggestions and have a full discussion. However, what I want to do with you guys, I want you guys to come on up in here and talk about it. Whenever you were at a crossroads, whenever you felt like things were just not happening for you, or things were just too much and you had to go in and to get into that place where you either bottled up or not necessarily bottled up, but you had to go in and it became a cocoon. You know how caterpillars go into cocoon, and that's when they start the transformation, and they have to do all this and do all that so that when they come out and emerge as the butterfly, they become a new creature, and they go off and then are able to become and let the world see their new beauty, to see what they have become, what they have aspired to be. So when it's time for that, when it's time to emerge from that cocoon, how do you do it? What are some of the things that you have done when it's time to get back out into the world? I always start this. I tell folks, one of the things that we must start doing is understanding exactly where we are in the world. And what I mean by that is you have to understand who you are. You have to understand all of your likes and your dislikes, and understand what it is that brings you joy. What are some of the things that bring you joy? You understand? Because so many times we look for external things to do it. We think, oh, because I got the TV, or because I got this cute little bag, or, just going shopping is supposed to be the thing, right? Hey, Road, what's going on, baby? A lot of us feel as though that those external things are the things that get us out there, or that's what brings me happiness. But what is it that truly brings you happy? Because how many of us go shopping and we got the bag, but like me, honey, the bag end up in the corner somewhere because you have so many bags to where you're not going every place to use them. You know, that was one thing about my mother. You know, when I started noticing the change in her, my mother used to always have somewhere to go. You know, she was a lively woman and always wanted to be out and about. So one of the things I would do for her birthdays all the time would be to, you know, I would get her outfit. I would about lay my mama out, right? From head to toes, because she loved hats. And I would get her, if I could find the right hat, a hat, you know, in the summertime, I got us little summer dresses with a cute little shoe, a purse, you know, and carried on. But I was like, okay. But then my mama always said, okay, I'm going to put it up. But she always claimed she had nowhere to go. I'm like, mama, make somewhere to go. Now, this is something you taught me. You know how to get up and go do something, right? Hugh Lee, what's up? What's up? Um, but that there was when she did, you know, she just started to fade in the background a little bit, and that struck me because I was like, no, this ain't my mama, you know, this is not what she does. Hold on. In the words of my sister, honey, Miss Otis Mack, honey, Chicago's heavy diva, she would say, pardon my indulgence. Oh, this ain't alcohol in here, honey. I'm drinking my daughter's peach drink, honey. Y'all see, y'all like the cup? See this? Uh-huh. Atlanta's Philly Italian pasta and subs. This is a black-owned company. Y'all go up on my YouTube page, honey, and go look at my taste test, because this is the home of the 2-foot sub. You hear me? Don't nobody else do that. They got 2-piece subs. It's a fat boy's dream up in there. I'm telling you, I got the meatball sub today. We'll talk about that in a minute. But like I said, oftentimes when I noticed that with my mom, that she was starting to disconnect herself from being lively. And I always ask you, when you want to get back out into the world or whatever, you got to start with, what are the things that you like? What is it that you like to do? What do you like to do? Okay. What is it that you like to do? Okay. What are your hobbies? Okay. Do you like to crochet? Do you like needlepoint, honey? Do you like sewing? Okay. Do you like to color? Do you like to draw? Do you like going to the movies? Do you like gaming? Do you like playing cards? Do you like going to coffee houses and things, you know, having conversation? Do you like sitting at the park and reading a book? Do you like to read? You know, do you like getting into book clubs and having further discussions about real good books? Do you like bowling? You know, we say that, but how many of us actually go bowling, except for those who are in bowling leagues or whatever? You hear folks say that, oh, I like to bowl and all that kind of stuff. And I think people just say that to say they like doing something, but how often do you get out to do it? That there is the question. I like bowling too, but I haven't been bowling in a while. You know, I'm not on the league or anything, but I like going to be around the camaraderie. Just to hear the ball go down the lane and strike the pins, honey, is always a joy. You know, that's fun. You know, especially when you got 9 bowlers and everybody throwing gutter balls. You know, because it makes for a fun evening. When you got professionals up in there and everybody going for the strikes and carrying on and they competing, that's cute. But I think for me, it's just like going to karaoke. Karaoke is not for singers, okay? And I say that respectfully because even though we are singers, you go there to try out new material, you know, to practice vocally and carrying on. But karaoke is basically for the non-singer, okay? That's for those who sing in the shower, who dream of always being in concert form or whatever, and you get to go up there on stage and make a complete ass of yourself and have fun doing it and watching everybody encourage you to be an ass, okay? And it's fun, okay? You sit down there doing a song you know you ain't got no business doing, but you got your friends that are sing the song. Come on and sing, baby. You better sing. Okay. How many of y'all like doing everybody think they Tina Turner and want to go up there doing Rolling on the River, honey? Y'all want to do Proud Mary all day. Everybody want to dance and do the Proud Mary dance and all of that because it's fun. You get to let off some steam, child. You get to actually get a good kick in. Okay. So it's that, especially when you find what it is that you'd like to do. If you've been single for a while and looking to get back to start dating and stuff again, in the world of techno dating now, because everything is high tech, we got all these damn apps. You want to swipe to the right, swipe to the left, and this, that, and the other. No, for those of us who are still old school, you start with your hobbies. This is where you start. If it's going to Starbucks to get a cup of coffee and sitting down there having a blueberry muffin or a chocolate muffin with your cafe mocha, okay, Coco da Vinci, and you're sitting down there with a good book or the newspaper or a magazine or something, honey, a comic book even, and then you strike up conversation. This is how you get back into the world. This is how you connect. This is how folks get to find out exactly who you are, how you do things the way that you do. This is where, hell, Jill Scott says it best. Let's take a long walk around the park after dark. This is how you get to that particular point. Maybe you're not ready to do it after dark. Maybe you're ready to do it on the lunch break or something. Let's go to the park and just hang out. I love to go and sit by the water. Okay. Water is my element, honey. And I'm one who needs to be by the water just so I could hear it, crash up against the waves and against the banks and carrying on, listen to the waves roar, watching the sun shimmy off of it, or the moon at night. I particularly like going at night because I love when the moon is shimmying off the water. And I like to take a good book. If I'm not reading anything by Iyanla Vanzant or something, I would take a good book with me. I used to do that with one of my nephews, my gay nephews. We would go down and I, one of the things my best friend and I used to do, and I need to get back into this, on quiet nights or whatever, baby, we didn't feel like going out to the club or whatever on a Friday night or whatever. We would sit down and just make the party at home. We would sit down and we would turn on some music, whether it was gospel or house or jazz or whatever, or something, whatever. And that's when Elin Harris books were just becoming popular and stuff. And we would sit down and we would take turns reading the book out loud. We would just read it out loud at each chapter, honey. We would sit down there and just go exploring the chapter and having a cocktail and stuff. Then we would sit down there and just get into this book, child, and just create an entire evening of just and it's an intimate setting, so everybody was on the same vibe. And then if we brought other people in, we all took turns reading the book and carrying on. And there's some who really didn't like reading out loud or felt that because I'm a dramatic and everything, they like how I read or whatever. So, they would sit down and we would get into the book and we would just have moments with the book. And then of course, they would sit down and they would stop and we would pause because something would just hit us. And, of course, through all the sex scenes or whatever, we all had to take a sip and carry on. And we got into it. And that there was something that I just adored doing. And I still adore doing that, as a matter of fact, I got 3 good books that I'm in the process of reading now. My sister friend, Sean Lamont, she sent me these books and she asked me had I started reading yet, and I hadn't started yet because we've been so busy. But this is book number 3, The Final Truth by Sean Lamont. Okay, I got the other 2 over here. Like, this is the first one I get my hands on. I started with number 1. I can't think of the title of it right now. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But I'm right here. This is book number 3. She has it's a 5. She's written 5 books, but these this is a trilogy here. Okay. And so I've got to get into that. So I have the books. Now it's like, okay, I got to create the audience and do something with it and carry it on, on these nights where, oh, you know what could be fun? It could be fun, honey, if I do it here live. What y'all think about that? If I were to take and we do a whole evening of getting into that particular one of the books, honey, and just sit down here and just read the book out loud, you know, everybody get a cocktail. Oh, no, 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 not here, not here, not here. Maybe if I did it as a Zoom, okay, to where I could open it up and do like a open book club, and we could all sit down and take turns reading a chapter or whatever, and get into it, and everybody got a cocktail, and we'll set the tone and play some music or whatever. Or better yet, because it's my idea, I would have to be the one to set because I don't want 16 of us, everybody playing different music, honey. Maybe we'll sit down here and just have a day, where we're just sitting down and paying homage, and I could just say, oh, the final truth, okay? Okay, and get into it. Okay. Well, she said this book is a work of fiction, although it contains incidents referring to actual people and places. These references are used to lend the fiction a realistic setting. All names, characters, and places, incidents are the product of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, events, locales, and is entirely coincidental. Okay, just that. Or I could take my book. I got my books and things. I got my help, and things of that nature. Just so that you can get into it. So that just a thought, because it gives us connection. A lot of times we don't know how to get reconnected back into the world because we've lost touch. I say all the time that the art of communication, honey, has become a lost art form. The interweb, honey, has become the devil because we have lost the ability to learn how to communicate with one another intimately. Okay. We don't know context clues. We don't know inferences anymore. We don't know how to catch the intonations of someone's voice because we're too busy clicking. Everything has been 160 characters or 380 characters or whatever. And we've just been typing and clicking. And no one can hear anymore. This is why y'all hear me say this frequently, that when we are typing, usually when I'm doing the radio show on Blog Talk, I tell folks in the chat room, when the chat room is open, listen, this is just the written word. And because you cannot hear how people, the intonations and the affectations of someone's voice, you may think that they're trying to come out of a bag on you. How many of y'all, when y'all typing in the comments and stuff, you think somebody's trying to snap on you? And it's really not. You just don't know how they talk. Because I can say, bitch, you tripping. But because I'm saying it like that, you don't hear that. You just saw, bitch, you tripping. Okay. And based on your reaction and how you heard it before, or the people that you've been around, or the context in which it's been used for you or to you, you thinking they're trying to go off on you. So then you end up snapping back and get the clapbacks, and then we get into this whole back and forth that's unnecessary, But the art of communication is being lost because we don't know how to do it anymore. It's not taught. How many of y'all still like writing good old-fashioned letters? I'm somebody who likes to receive mail. Hint, hint. I love a handwritten letter, okay? Or if you don't feel like writing, if you just feel like typing it because your handwriting ain't the greatest, and you type it out, that's cute too. I'm a dinosaur in that I love receiving mail. I love receiving letters and things of that nature. I adore it. I really and truly adore it. Was incidentally, I got to write. I started being a pen pal again to some people I know who are incarcerated. And so I've got to return a couple of things because I hadn't written them. It's been about a little bit over a month. But yeah, hold on. Oh, this is just the cutest glass. Okay, I just wish it had a straw, but this is just—it's so cute. Okay. Uh but how many of you guys are into love letters or just handwriting a letter? Remember, I don't know how many of y'all remember when it was a luxury to have your own stationery. You know, we used to create stationery all the time. Remember back in the day, you could, and they still got specialty paper at Staples and Office Depot and places like that. But how many of y'all used to create your own stationery? You know, to where if you were handwriting or even when you type letters, you typed it on your stationery, you had your own letterhead and stuff on it because it was from you. It gave it a little personal touch, right? It gave it a little zhuzh. Okay. And it felt that way when you would open up the letter and the things were coming and from the desk of Demetrius Taylor or Big Meats Love You or whatever we put, or you had the cutesy little borders and things and all of that. It gave it a presentation. It was fun. How many of y'all, used to sit down and you spray the envelope with perfume or whatever, or sometimes if you're sending love letters or whatever, ladies, have y'all ever kissed the letter? Put your little lipstick mark on the letter so you kiss it, or all of that kind of stuff. We've lost that, right? But what would it mean for somebody to get back into it? What would it mean if you were to send somebody a letter in the mail like that, or whatever, even just for shits and giggles, just to say you did something different to awaken the mood or whatever. How many of you have taken and did sticky notes around the house? Okay, have you ever done that before, where you were going to be gone, and maybe whoever was at the house or whatever, your husband, wife, significant other, whatever you're going to call this person, you knew you were going to be gone, but you left sticky notes around the house so that when they came in and they found them, they knew what was up. Hey, I missed you. Give them a pat on the head. Somebody loves you, baby. You know who it is. Okay. Give them Stephanie Me or something in the way you make me feel. Okay. And you just put them strategically around the house. Okay. Or whatever. Or how about if you pack their lunch? And carrying on, and you put a little note in the lunch bag or whatever, because they don't know until they get there, right? Until it's time to eat. Or how many of you have you ever sent somebody something to their job unexpectedly, or did it to yourself? Have you sent yourself some flowers to your job, just for the idea of woo? Okay, just cause. Okay, just because. How many of y'all have ever done that? See, it's stuff like that. It's little stuff when you think outside the box in order to get back into the world. You know what I'm saying? How many? If you know somebody, when you know someone's hobbies, okay, this is why I'm sticking on hobbies. If you know someone's hobbies, okay, let's take bowling, for instance. Okay. If you know that they like to go bowl, okay, have you ever struck up a conversation to find out where they bowl, their favorite bowling alleys or whatever, right? Have you ever, did you take and get a gift card to that bowling alley and just say, hey, a couple of games on me, that kind of thing? Or maybe you saw some bowling gloves, wrist things or whatever, and you probably got them as a little gift and say, here, boom. A bowling bag. Maybe you found a monogram bowling bag so they get their own bowling ball or whatever, stuff like that. That would do it. How many of y'all like to roller skate, honey? I ain't been skating in forever. My coordination is so far off is ridiculous. Okay, as a matter of fact, one of the people who I started writing again is a cousin of mine, who has been incarcerated. God, he's been up in there for so long now, it's crazy. But he and I used to be roller derby kids when we were kids, okay? And his grandmother, Aunt Ruth, rather, He used to take us roller skating all the time. Okay, that was a child. That's what, honey. We stayed at Skate Land in the arcade, honey. We stayed there, baby. Woo! Did we stay? Okay. But now my coordination of stuff, I haven't been on roller skates in so long time to where I have to learn how to start over. And I'm kind of getting the bug because I've been seeing y'all watch Usher. Have y'all been seeing it on YouTube and shit? Usher going roller skating and shit and carrying on and some of the cute other people's on the skates. I'm like, oh child, wait a minute, honey. And then some of the music, honey, you just want to go and do your thing on the floor. See, I'm over 50 now, so I'm not trying to roller derby. I just want to get around and just hey, take my time, and just go side to side. I've never learned how to skate backwards, because I hadn't trusted. When I was a kid, maybe no, when I was a kid, I tried it. But at that time, I wasn't afraid to fall and this, that, and the other. Now, child, we got to be careful. But trying to do the thing, and you got to dip into your leans when it's time to, you got to cross your legs, or you got to learn how to do the cross right, So I would have to learn how to take lessons all over again because I've not been on skates in shit. It's what I'm 52. It's got to be 40 years since I've been on some damn skates. 40 years, bitch, stop. That's a lifetime, honey. No, we got to start over. Okay. How many of y'all like to go dancing? Okay. Have y'all taken classes? If you want to get back into the world again, and you want to learn how to do the latest hustle or learn how to do, the cha-cha or whatever, or ballrooming, because, not let me be transparent. Y'all know ballrooming, honey, is a Midwest thing. Y'all know this. Y'all know this. Detroit and Chicago got ballrooming basically on lockdown, right? However, they would revoke my Detroit card, honey, because my ballroom needs some work. I can fake it through. Okay, I can fake it through. But no, what I need to do, I've been wanting, oh, child, the kids, where were we at? Where were we at? Where were we? Damn it. Oh, House in the Park. That's where we were. When I did an Indigenous house, okay, and carrying on this past Sunday. Well, I can't say a week ago because tomorrow is a new Sunday. So yeah, a week from tomorrow. When we were at Indigenous house, there were some children that got out there on that damn dance floor, baby, and they started ballrooming. Bay and B, honey. When I tell you they got to doing it, I was like, oh, shuck it, duck it. Honey, a bitch got to sit down here and do this thing, baby. Because Miss Thing, I'm going to call her mother Indigenous, honey. Because there's that girl who had the big skirt on. She liked to twirl and let the skirt, yeah. Honey, she gets into her groove. And she got to twirling. And the way how her skirt was twirling this time, it didn't do a full, how like the pizza throw twirl. Her damn skirt did that spiral twirl, honey. Baby, it was absolutely gorgeous. And so I was looking at that. I was like, oh, bitch, I need to get back into it so I get my ballroom together, honey. So when I get out there on the dance floor, whether as Demetrius, honey, or as Samantha Stevens, Divinity, honey, get out there and twirl, honey, so that the children we can let the kids know what's up. That is where this is, honey. That's where this is. So when you're trying to get back into the world, when you've done the work, when you've done your work, you've done all of the crying and the counseling and the putting the pieces together. You've identified some of your trigger issues. You identified some of the things that have been keeping you at bay. You identified a lot of the areas to where you need some improvement. Would you stop being afraid to ask for help? How about that one? When you stop being afraid of asking for help. Okay. And not just asking for help, but you got to be sincere and earnest. Okay. Now I'm saying that because when you remove the pride and all of that of saying that, okay, and a lot of times what that pride is inner anger. You're mad at yourself because oftentimes you feel as though I should be at a better place. I shouldn't be here, Why do I need somebody to help me clean up my house? Now, this is me. Why do I need somebody to help me clean up my house? I know how to do this, but I can't function because every time I try to do it, I freeze. My anxiety, I won't call it anxiety, but I'm going to have to, just for shits and giggles. Whatever this is, it just gets in the way and I become paralyzed. So it's like, no, I really need help. I need help. And the thing of it is that I'm not as bad as you've seen on TV, but it's enough. Okay, it's bad for me because in my eyes it is that, and it's really not, but in my eyes it is. And so we have to do better. But when you get over the idea, see, when your pride gets in the way, when you don't want to ask for help, it's because oftentimes you are afraid of what you think the repercussions are, because you have made up in your head that folks going to talk about you. Folks going to be all in your business. Folks going to have something to say. They already doing it, boo. That's the point that you have to understand. They are already doing it. They're already doing it. Okay. You just don't want that to become your reality, because you could easily say, okay, well, they don't know shit because I ain't said nothing. They don't know. They don't know my business. Did you hear that from me? Did you hear it from me? You don't know. Well, they're already talking, baby. So at this particular point, who gives a sweet damn? Who cares? They're already talking, so let them talk. Let them talk. But when it's time to get you together, when it's time to get all this together, honey, what is the price? Okay, what's the cost of the oil in your alabaster box, baby? What is that price? Okay, because you have to tell folks, you don't know what I've been through in order for me to get here. You don't know what I'm going through as to why I'm at this particular place in my life. So now when I'm doing the work of trying to get to the next elevation, the next room, the next realm, you don't know what it took for me to get there. You understand? But you have to stop punishing yourself because you had to go through something to get something. We often punish ourselves for whatever reasons. Maybe you felt like you were a letdown to yourself, to your parents, to those who look up to you and carrying on. If you felt like you have let somebody down or disappointed people, that there is something you got to take up off of you. Why do you take it up off of you? Because, honey, you can only disappoint yourself. Everybody else, honey, if they're disappointed, it's because they disagree with choices that you've made. They disagree with the trajectory that a decision probably have taken. But those who love you will stick by you, honey, and they're going to coach you through it. You know what I'm saying? And here it is. Here's where it comes down to balance. And I want y'all to hear me. I need for y'all to hear me with this. Okay? Because your life, y'all hear me say this all the time, your life is not your life. It's not for you. Your life is for others. You're doing stuff and going through stuff so that other people can learn from it. You are a spiritual experiment, honey. Ooh. Wow. Damn. That hit. You are a spiritual experiment, a guinea pig, because everything that you go through is not for you. You're going through it so that others can learn from you. Ain't that what a cadaver is? Folks have died so that we can learn about the body, so that we can see what lung cancer does and how the lungs get all black and this, that, and the other. Okay. Folks have died so that life can still go on because they've donated hearts and other organs and things so that you can go. So everything about the human experience, you become a spiritual experience and a spiritual experiment. Wow. 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 That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. That's real deep. So just imagine what you have to go through. So this is why we have testimonies. Your excuse me, your testimony is there so that folks who hear your story and carrying on, they can pull from it. They can learn from it. They can absolutely look at you and say, damn, I've survived this. How many of us, when we look at our grandparents and stuff, we look at them and like, oh my God, look at what, how many of y'all are cooks? You like to cook and carry it on. You like to cook. Look at the conveniences we have of cooking. Okay. Look at the conveniences that we now have of cooking. Okay. How many of y'all had wood burning stoves before? Have you ever had a wood burning stove? I've seen one. I've never cooked on one because I wanted to learn how to regulate the heat. Well, if you're just throwing logs on the fire, okay, you got to learn how to regulate the heat so everything cooks evenly, right? How about going out to chop the wood so that you can have wood to burn so you can cook or heat the house and this, that, and the boil the water. Look at the conveniences that we have now. But we got gas stoves, we got electric stoves, we got microwaves. Okay. Remember, before we had the choppers and all these food processors and things of that nature, we had to go by hand and learn how to dice and chop real fine. Okay, now we got a food processor, throw everything in the processor, honey, it's done. Okay. But how many of y'all don't understand that it took, like, imagine cooking a big old Thanksgiving dinner back when your mother and your grandmother were children. Okay. Back when my grandmother was a child, I'm going back there because that means my great-grandmother, who had 9 children, okay, and was a slave, okay, what was that? Well, you got to cut up this and cut up that and peel this and peel that. Well, it would take hours to cook. It takes a turkey 2 hours by itself, depending on how big it is, sometimes 2.5, 3 hours, okay, to cook. But you got all this chopping. You got to chop up the celery, chop up the onions, chop up the bell peppers. Okay. Chop up the garlic, because remember, we didn't have garlic powder. They had garlic. You chop up the garlic. Get the chives. Get the oregano. Remember, okay, we go get the herbs and just sprinkle. But look at the conveniences that we have. Okay. Look at that. And why? Because we had to learn. They learn how. When we sit down there and get those stories of how, they had to do this and how they had to do. Look at how, they didn't have pre-made biscuits back in the day. Before biscuits in a can, honey, became a thing. Okay. Biscuits in the can, honey, they had to make biscuits every day. Okay. Dropping and cutting them out and carrying on. And that was an everyday thing. Okay. To have hot biscuits and things, that was a thing. So they had to roll the dough out and this, that, and the other. Okay, that was a thing. How many of y'all know the difference between regular flour and cake flour? Have you ever bought cake flour before? It was what was Swan's, right? Swan's cake flour. And why? Because when you want to cook the cake, you want the cake to be light and fluffy. Okay. A lot of the flour that we have, honey, the all-purpose flours and carrying on, if you don't know how to sift that flour, honey, that cake is going to be dense as hell, ain't it? But cake flour was pre-sifted flour, and it had a lightness to it. And if you wanted the cake to be extra light, you took a sifter, okay, and you sifted it. And if you didn't have a sifter, what did you do? You had to take it and get a colander, and run it through the colander, okay, and sift it through. So that why? Because it takes and it lightens up that flour so that the cake could be moist. Okay, how How many of y'all really understand that? Okay, so I'm giving all these examples to say that, we come from somewhere, and when you get the stories, our testimonies are what keep us to go further. This is how we learn. Okay, through trial and error, this is how we learn. So your life is not yours, sweetie. Your life is for somebody else. You are a spiritual experiment for the next person. You are a spiritual cadaver for the next person, for the populace. Because your life then becomes what folks hear, because they're going to take your story and then they'll tell it, and they'll tell two friends, and then they'll tell two friends. Then you become history. Look at how we talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks and Maya Angelou and all these, James Baldwin, Bayard Rustin, okay, Audre Lorde. When we talk about these folks, okay, Christine Jorgensen even, okay, Laverne Cox even, okay, okay. When we tell these stories and we talk about these things, honey, this is when you become history. Because your story is still teaching and your story is still relevant. You touched that many people, and they utilized you to be an example of how to get over. Oh, that is so good. Oh, God, that's touching me. Let me go to the comments, honey. I ain't talk to y'all in a second over here. Rose, you said, I like cooking and singing. Okay. I like bowling, too. I have my own ball. Do you? I never got my own ball. I wanted to. I never got my own ball. When I was a kid, we used to take bowling lessons and things. And that was the other thing too. When we were children, there was always something to do, and there was always some kind of activity to put your kids in. But now, everything costs a whole hell of a lot. And see, back in the day, that kind of stuff, it was low cost or it was free. But somewhere, like there was somebody having grants and stuff that would pay for all that kind of stuff. And I think that's something we need to look back into. I need to talk to people. Let's see how many of y'all have influence with those who got real money. Those who making like 8, 7, 8, 9 figures. You know what I'm saying? That can establish these kinds of grants and opportunities to where folks can apply for them to get these kind of programs up and running. We need a skate program for kids, and young adults, not just for kids, but for everybody, to where people who want to do these things, they could do them. Sewing classes and electronics classes and going to learn how to skate, how to play tennis, badminton and stuff, those kinds of things, honey. I've never had my own bowling ball, honey, but that would have been cute to have it to have it with my name on it and shit. That would have been lovely, honey. Okay. Pet Wolf Wolves, reading everything from sci-fi to gangster books, music, talking on the phone, downloading. Oh, okay. So that's those are your hobbies. Did you like pets? Woof woof. So you like dogs? Okay. Okay. Ooh, this is gonna be a good show. You think so, Princess? Come on. Nothing wrong with it here either. Okay. Hadn't had a chance to do it yet. Okay. There was I remember when you put that up there. That was when I was talking about doing the sticky notes and things. Okay. All right, here we go. We do blind rhythm dance class, and I'm trying to get my lazy Sean to get a new playlist in. Okay. Blind rhythm is our dance class. Our teacher needs to go get some new funk. Okay. Was suggested to him, or either Groove, put it on the flash drive or something, and then just hand it the flash drive so she can have some new music. But here, honey, something to consider. Okay. Hello, darlings. Happy weekend to you all. Hey, JoJo. Okay. Yes. Okay. The children. I have to get the idea out my head that exercise has to be rigorous and just dance around the room like I was 10. Exactly. Let me tell you something. Dancing is some of the best exercise, child, because it's something that you want to do. Dancing is fun. Dancing, it doesn't require a lot. And once you get moving and carrying on, honey, hey, you're moving, and child, depending on how long you dance, and child, at your own pace, if you know that you're dancing kind of slow you slow jamming and carrying on, and you got all your body moving and stuff. And you're gonna have to be on the floor for about a couple of hours, honey, in order for this to do something, right? Because you're taking it slow, but you at your own pace. You know what I'm saying? You at your own pace. And we doing house music, and we sit up there rocking and rolling and carrying on, and I'm sweating and got to change my shirts and things, then you're gonna burn off kind of quickly. But at the same time, because I'm a little older and I don't exercise as frequently as I used to, or dance as much as I used to, yeah, I get tired quick. So I bitch be sitting up here getting her little shaking her wiggle on, honey. But then these hips have been like, okay, bitch, we can't wiggle that much. So I'm like, okay, let me take a break and then take a little break and then get back into it. So I've got to get back into an exercise class to where I'm utilizing my limbs and stuff a little bit more. I got to start bending these knees because I don't do a lot of bending. I sit or whatever. But when you sit, you're stationary. My knees and stuff have got to get into a spot where I'm able to bend so that I can break it on down. And when I want to drop it like it's hot, and I can drop it like it's hot, but I can pick it right back up, Because should a bitch get down there and get stuck, be like, sound like somebody's tearing out a piece of paper, honey, slowly. Remember how we was in school, you tore the paper out, but you didn't want nobody to know you were ripping the paper out, so you tore it out slowly because it made too much noise. Well, that's how my knees get. That's how my knees get to going sometimes, honey. If they lock up on me, or if I'm not bending them properly. Yes, Chad. Okay. Okay. What's that? Amen. Big me preach, darling. Thank you, darling. Preach. Okay. Too young for the wood stove. Just seen one on The Color Purple. Okay, exactly. That's why I made that reference, because but that's my point. Okay, that there is completely the point. See, the wood burning stove, honey, is something that you would have known nothing about. But remember, probably your great grandparents would know about the wood burning stove and this, that, and the other. Okay, because that's what that is. Back in the day when we had to regulate the heat. So yeah. Okay, wait a minute. Come on. What we doing? Come on, comment. Thank you. Mom still chops and cooks from scratch and thinks we're lazy because we don't. Okay. Cooks in that walk, chop, chop, chop. Okay. And doesn't like American conveniences because to her we're lazy. Okay. Okay. My mother dishes upon dishes upon dishes. And that's why I hate doing dishes now. Dishes for every little thing. Okay. My grandmother did the all-purpose and the cake flour. Okay, the way she did her cakes are tremendously delicious. Okay, because you understand, JoJo, yes, because that's what it is. When my grandmother used to bake cakes and all that, she had cake flour and things, and she knew how to make it nice and fluffy. And now watch this. How many of y'all know what wax paper is for? How many of y'all know wax paper is? Most of us, y'all probably just use aluminum foil, right? And then your icing gets stuck on the foil. You can't get the icing off and carrying on because it done got embedded. The foil done got all crinkling and wrinkling and carrying on. Wax paper was what we took when we were wrapping cake up and carrying on, so that if the icing got on the cake, it could easily come off so that it wouldn't destroy the cake. You wrapped it up in the wax paper so that it would still remain delicate and the cake could be in place. Okay. And if you're trying to preserve, then you wrap it in wax paper first and then wrap it in foil, so that you wrap it in foil to try to preserve the freshness of the cake so it don't dry out. See? Okay. Okay. Dad had a community coffee pot at work and none of them washed it. I don't wash my coffee pots every time either. Okay. Okay. I've heard many stories about how self-sufficient my grandparents and great-grandparents were back in the 20s through the 60s. Some of those skills are still available to learn as long as we have an open mind. gardening and cooking came to mind the most. Listen, you have to understand something. Back the 20s through the 60s, honey, we were responsible for creating our own food, you know. So having a garden and carrying on was lovely. And even listen, back when our grandparents and stuff had bought their homes, you have to remember they're probably some of the first or the only blacks in their neighborhoods or whatever, you know. So one of the things that they wanted to do was to show that, honey, I'm just like everybody else. So they would keep the yard up and make sure they had pretty flowers and make sure that the outside of the home was just as lovely as the inside because it was up under a lot of scrutiny. They made sure that the landscaping was cute. You edged up your grasses and carrying on so that it had, if it grew, but you kept it cut, you kept it nice, you kept it together so that it wouldn't bring about a bunch of scrutiny and then folks will sit up there and think that you are not worthy to be in the neighborhood. You understand? So yeah, but oftentimes, yeah, you had to be self-sufficient. You had to be because nobody else is going to do it for you. Okay. I know about the cake flour. My mother used it occasionally. Okay. Now I've had cake flour. I bought cake flour maybe once or twice, but what I learned was through sifting all-purpose flour. You had to take and you had to sift all-purpose flour like 4 times. Okay. And you just take and if you got a little sifter thing, remember the metal thing that you squeeze and it sift the flour through, honey. You do that about I think that all purpose flour, especially if it's bleached or whatever, you really got to sift it like 4 times to get in a nice consistency, and that way that'll help with the fluffiness of the cake. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wax paper to wrap up cake. You know it, honey. You come on, Emmanuel. Ha! Come on, Emmanuel. You already know, child. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. I didn't know that about the wax paper. Yes, Leah, that's what it's for, honey. We had wax paper because it was specifically for cakes and pies. Okay, so that when you wrap it up, it will preserve it because you had all the icing and stuff on there, and a lot of us, the icing and stuff is fresh. Most of the time, we made fresh stuff, so the icing is fresh, and you didn't want to destroy it, and then you still wanted to eat your icing, you know. So you could easily take a knife and scoop it off of the wax paper so that it wouldn't be destroyed, And then, like I said, you wrap it first in the wax paper. And then if you wanted to preserve it because you may not get to it right away, then you wrap it in foil so that it keep the cake and stuff moist and it wouldn't dry out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. And you used to use wax paper to wrap that food in the box. Come on, when you're taking on the bus, going to grandma's house, and that white paper wrapped up that piece of cake and separate from the chicken wrapped in the aluminum foil. You better understand it. You better understand it. Now, remember, they called it butcher's paper. Remember that? For those of y'all who may be a little too young for this, whenever we would go to the market, we had butchers, okay? And we were able to go get a cut of meat or carry. Now, if y'all ever watched the Brady Bunch, you always saw Alice going to the butcher. What was the butcher's name on the show? I can't think of his name. But that's what a lot of stores had that to where, they would. This is why farmers were important because a lot of stores they were really killing the cows and the chickens and stuff, and you sit down there and cut the cow up so that you could have fresh meat. So when you went to the butcher, you could sit down there and say, "Could I get this? And could you cut this thin?" So that we got thin this and thin that. We got lunch meat, by the slice, and they would sit down there and roll it on the cutter. You buy by the pound, But I was saying that the butcher's paper, a lot of that paper that they wrapped it in, honey. Okay, one of the things why it was in paper was because until you transferred it into a Ziploc bag or something. A lot of this was before Ziploc bags came out. That was just the way you did. It wasn't going to last long, so you wrapped it in the paper to preserve it in the icebox, right? But that particular paper, like Emmanuel was saying, some of that paper, honey, was when you line up the containers. Sometimes you would line up your containers with wax paper or sometimes parchment paper. Now, parchment paper is a little different from wax paper. Parchment paper, you can cook with parchment paper, okay? Parchment paper is the aluminum foil for cookies and stuff. Like when you bake it, y'all may have heard Martha Stewart say that all the time. You get some parchment paper, line your pan, because when you're baking cookies and carrying on, it don't stick to the pan, right? And so when you're able to go up and scoop, it doesn't tear up the cookie and stuff either. You got parchment paper for that particular thing. It absorbs, the moisture and stuff, and it doesn't let the cookies and stuff do all that. So what would happen is they have multiple purpose uses, multiple use purposes, and that would line the containers if they gave you a container. Sometimes the old bowls and can became your containers, honey. Okay, this is before Tupperware. So and then sometimes you didn't have containers; they just had to wrap it. So they would wrap it in butcher paper, okay, or they would wrap it in, to separate the hot from the cold. Like Emmanuel was saying, honey. So they get that wax paper, honey. You wrapped up your dessert from the regular food. Yeah. So that there is that. Oh, we done went all. Child, this was a good show, honey, and it is because we done went. You see how this onion done unfolded. We talking about getting back into the world, but yet the stories of understanding how some of this has evolved takes us there. So this is how we on wax paper and cooking and carrying on, because talking about the days of old and how your life is not yours. We are spiritual cadavers, honey. We are spiritual experiments, honey, for the next person or people, because your life, honey, I tell this to folks all the time, your life is the next chapter of the Bible. Okay, the next book of the Bible, rather. Your life, the book of Big Meech or Demetrius, the book of Princess Leia, the book of Emmanuel, the book of E. Groove, okay, the book of JoJo, the book of Carlon, the book of, okay, you are the next book of the Bible. So everything who you call on to be your guiding post, your higher power, your divine inspiration, whatever that is, however you're going to call it, if you're not saying Jesus Christ, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever. If you're not using that particular language and you call it something else, you are still the next chapter, or the next book, rather, of the infamous Bible. And I say that because it is your walk, it is your journey, it is your connections, it is your philosophies and how you see life. It is your experiences that's going to dictate who God is to you, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. And so that there is why our lives are not our own. You become the story, honey. Your story has to be told. Okay, for other folks to get it, to understand. How about my trans women out there and my trans men? To know that you have gone against the grain of what everybody trying to tell you God is. Okay, God created you to be this, and why you want to desecrate and do that? Because I can. Because I can. I'm already ordained to do so. And that's something that you can't deal with, because now you're going to tell me what is ordination and what is not. This is my life and my connection with the higher power, God, the infinite creator of all things, as I like to say, the omniverse. Okay. My connection is my connection. And I don't care how you challenge it, honey, but there's nothing you can do about it. And that there is where we need to be. So when we're talking about these things, like I say, making an effort and all that I'm saying and carrying on. I just lost my thought. But what we're doing is making sure that we are preparing that space so that we could continue the work of being spiritual experiments. You are a spiritual cadaver. How about that? Let me take a break right here because I got to go refill my cup. I'm going to take a break. And when we come back, I forgot what else I said I wanted to talk about. Oh, I want to show y'all a couple things. Let me show you a couple of things. Okay. And when we come back, honey, we're going to have a good time still, okay? You're watching Dishing Tea with Big Meech, honey. We'll be right back in a few moments.
Angelo Ellerby, the Henry Higgins of hip-hop, is the founder, president, and CEO of Double Exposure Media Relations. Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in publicity, photography, artist promotion and artist development, makeup artistry, event production, and EPK development. Celebrating over 45 years in the industry, Angelo believes that a culture that does not take care of nor respect its artists is a culture that leaves nothing behind to appreciate. Let Angelo help you make dollars and cents of the entertainment industry. Contact Double Exposure Media Relations at 201-224-6570. That's 201-224-6570. Welcome to Alo Nana. Treat yourself to the luxurious experience of having all-natural shea butter soaps and body balms that will soften, radiate, and even exfoliate your skin. Alo Nana products are designed with you in mind to promote overall health and wellness the way that nature intended. No dyes, no colors, no chemicals. Just pure love, like receiving a hug from grandma. Get your Alo Nana today. Contact Aunt Nikki on IG or call 267-629-1364. Alo Nana, building a legacy, not a letdown.
It's all back. It's don't back. It's all back. It's it's all back. It's don't it's all back. It's it's all back. It's don't it's all back.
Hey, you want to be a part of God's plan? Look at this angel. That's right, the shine, the sheen. You can only get that at Royal Extensions. Hit us up at Royal Extensions, www.royalextensionsatlanta.com or IG Royal Extensions 20. If you want to have the same thing as God's plan, you get it right here at Royal Extensions.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
And we are back, honey. Hello, hello, hello. If you're just tuning in with us, honey, you are dishing tea with Big Meats, honey. We love you, and we appreciate you for coming on up in here with us. Yes, darling. That there is what it is, honey, with all of that. I'm sitting up here trying to get folks together with some of these little messages and stuff. I was trying to do all this while the commercial break, and then I had to go refill my cup and etc. Darling. Let's see. But I'm trying to get up in here so I can figure out what it was that I didn't, when I write the show up, I keep forgetting how I wrote it up, right? So I had to go and look at my notes. Oh, okay, yeah, let's go here. Let me ask y'all a question, honey, a series of questions. What does it mean to be woke? Well, my power to the people, children. Okay, well, my power to the people. Power to the people. The peoples. Where you at? I need for you guys to explain to me what this is. Okay, what does it mean to be woke? Okay. What does that mean? And the reason why I'm asking is because, y'all know, I'm down here in Georgia. One of our candidates, honey, has claimed that he's going to protect his daughters and our daughters from, quote unquote, the woke mob. Okay. So, with that being said, what is it when we say that we're woke? And when we're woke, what is it that we do with it? Okay? Because once you wake the fuck up, what are you supposed to do? Okay, because I've always said, listen, when you wake up, there's shit you got to do. You got to get out the bed. You got to go pee. You got to take a shower. You got to brush your teeth. What few you may have left. Okay. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, shave, put your clothes on, make your bed up if you do before you leave, those kinds of things. So when you say that you woke, what does that entail? What does that mean? How do we move forward? What is it that we're expecting out of the woke community? No. Let me rephrase that. What is it that we are expecting once we wake up? What is it that once, you said, girl, you better wake up and smell the coffee. Okay. So now that we know woke up, honey, now what? Okay, and oftentimes we say that because we want somebody to get the information, need somebody to understand what's going on. There's a bigger picture. But here's the question. When we wake up, is it that we end up becoming or talking about, is it being into a different consciousness, or does this mean that we start getting into conspiracy theories? You understand? Because oftentimes when folks wake up, okay, or the woke community, the power to the people, children, they end up attaching themselves to a lot of shit that ends up becoming conspiracy theories. Okay? And I'm not saying that's wrong. What I'm challenging is that what being woke is supposed to mean? Because now everybody starts to get on this whole thing of what seems to be or has been categorized as some kind of conspiracy theory. And then the fight becomes, because I'm woke, that I'm trying to get you to see this, and you need to see it this way. Okay? Because and that kind of, is that what it is? Or Does woke mean that I have become aware of who I am? I have become aware of society. I've taken the blinders off and I see it for what it truly is. And I'm learning how to navigate through it without being prejudiced about anything or without having rose colored glasses, thinking that it is supposed to be what I've made up in my head. See, have we removed those blinders and say, okay, this is what this is, and now we're going to navigate accordingly, or what? What is that? Okay, I choose to want to believe the later that I just said, but I think we're a combination of both because I have heard a lot of people with conspiracy theories. And in fact, let me tell you, I'm one of them. I have a few things that I just believe, that I govern myself. And in certain instances, yes, I believe it's a conspiracy theory because I think that sometimes that, when you look at things or whatever, and what makes it a theory is because we haven't proven it yet. It's a theory that we're working on because the way how I calculated it, this and this and this, it becomes what's the word I'm looking for? Oh God. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Shit. I almost had it. Wait a minute. Oh Lord, I just had a brain fart. I hate when I do this. What's the word that I'm looking for? Anyway, um, the points connect. Okay, they're not necessarily congruent to one another, honey, but they um they connect, and so my ultimate outcome would be this. Okay, so then we start to govern ourselves accordingly. Okay, along those particular lines, and then oftentimes, like I said, we get into many debates because we want folks to see it that way. Oh, you better wake the fuck up and see what's going on. You better understand. You know, we get it all the time as a part of the alphabet community, honey. I get it all the time with everybody, honey. You better wake up, and recognize that you black first, and fuck all this damn LGBT shit. You black. But I just told you that. But you sit up there trying to tell me that because I'm black and LGBT, I'm gonna automatically choose LGBT first. What the hell make you think that? And so we start to argue over semantics. And then when I try to give you the damn do I did it, you want to tell me you better wake up. So, what? Okay. Whoa, child, honey. No. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. I'm sitting up here. I got biscuits, child. Listen. I got biscuits with some butter pecan syrup over here. And I got some syrup on my hand, and I'm trying to hit my mouth. And then they got sticky. Oh, not in the way I like. Well, we'll talk about that later. Okay, because I got to use this butter pecan syrup, honey, elsewhere. Ooh, praise the Lord. Let me go to the comments. See from the inside instead of outside. Character more times comes from out the mouth and follow the music of earthly angels till we get to heaven. Okay. Let's see. And quit chipping because of color. God made color like he does flavor. It's all supposed to be beautiful. Just because it was your elders' tradition doesn't mean it has to be yours if it's a bad one. Oh, now that's a real good. I like that one, Groove. I likes that one. I likes that one all day. Let's see. Avery is up in here. For me, being woke means that I am. Ha. Okay, that I am. Ha. Get it. Okay. I say, I'm alert to the situations that impact our lives financially, economically, health wise, and act accordingly. Okay, well, what you say, child? Okay, I think woke can be a reality when realization of power, freedom, personal growth, and acceptance of our true selves. Okay, okay. It is awareness. Okay, I like where we're going with this. Sounds delicious on body parts. Get okay, Lewis. You wasn't supposed listen, Lewis. You wasn't supposed to get my little context clues and inferences, child. Okay, so yeah, so that they are, when we're dealing with this whole idea of of woke, you know, again, I'm going to ask, now that you woke, what do we do with it? Okay, now that we are aware, now that we are, we got our senses together, what do we do with it? Okay, what do we do with it? How do we progress? How do we maintain? How do we then grow from that particular spot? Because a lot of us get stuck. And sometimes I'm gonna say I'm one of them. There are moments, that we know what's going on and carrying on and this, that, and other. But then there are times to where it's like, okay, do I feel like fighting this? You know, do I fucking feel like fighting this? Because you get to a point where it's like, okay, what is the point? There's sometimes where it's like sometimes I'm fighting a losing battle, or maybe I'm just fighting just to be fighting. Have what is it? What is it? What is it? Have you ever done something where you're in a sparring match and it's not doing nothing? You're just doing it for the exercise of it, And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like what my mother. My mother used to say all the time. She didn't like working out on treadmill. She said, "Because you're doing all that damn walking and then you ain't went nowhere." That was, spend all this damn time on a machine and you ain't went nowhere. Okay, she did not like treadmills and because in her mind it's like, okay, if you're gonna do that kind of walking shit, make it productive. Hell, you can kill two birds with one stone. Get your ass up, walk, go do what you got to do, take care of business. Then you could walk your ass back. When we were kids, child, we walked everywhere. Okay, everywhere. But at the time, we did all that kind of walking, not knowing what mama and them were doing, because we were having fun along the way. It was always something to do. We would stop and get little sodas and things, apples and bananas and all that kind of jazz. Walk. And for those of you who are in Detroit, let me give y'all an example of how we walked, okay? Because hell, when we lived on Lycast and Jefferson, okay, at the time. And we used to walk from Lycast and Jefferson all the way to fucking Belle Isle. We had to go over the bridge and then go play at Belle Isle. And then we would walk all the way back to Lycast and Jefferson. Okay? Now, I need for y'all to understand that particular walk, that particular walk had to be at least 9 miles, I think. Maybe I'm exaggerating. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to tell you. You know what? Come on, Google. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to go to Google Maps, okay? And I'm going to tell y'all what the mileage is. Ooh, how about that? Okay. How about that? We think we'll do this. Okay, Google Maps. Okay. And we're going to do We did. We were staying at Lycas was 1248. 1248 Lycas. Okay, Lycas, which it may not come up because the house is no longer there. Okay. So we want to go from there to where's my maps? Where is my maps? Give it to me now. I want directions. Okay, directions. No, we're gonna start at 1248 Lycas. Okay. And then we're gonna go to Belle Isle. Okay. So wait a minute, I'm gonna give it to you, honey. Okay, Belle Isle, Detroit. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, I said 9 miles. And I knew it was. I was exaggerating just a little bit. It's actually 5.5. Okay. So that was a 5.5 mile walk. Okay. That we would do as kids. Now it became 10 miles, of course, because we had to walk back. Not to mention all the shit that we had to do, to get, because if you're not from Detroit, okay, Belle Isle is an island, okay, and it's an island within Detroit, and so in order to get through it, there was a bridge, you had to cross over the bridge and carry on in order to get onto the little island, and that there is one of Detroit's meccas, okay, where that really needs to be an amusement park there because we have the space for it. We had the big giant slide, we had the Detroit Zoo there and carrying on, not the Detroit Zoo, the Belle Isle Zoo. The Belle Isle Zoo and the aquarium. We had an aquarium there. We had the botanical gardens there. Oh, child, Belle Isle was just the tea. And a lot of the families and stuff, we always had family reunions there because we had all the space. And then we had the band shell, which was our staging area. And it was called the band shell because it was like a clamshell like little thing or whatever. They had this concrete stage and all that. State of the art, sickening, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So we did all that and did all that kind of walking. But as a kid, we did not, it was second nature to us or whatever. So, and we didn't care. Yeah, we was with my mama. Mama was, and Edward at the time, they were just starting to date or whatever because my parents had just got divorced. And, it was a whole big to do. And I had got on this tangent. I was saying something and I forgot where I was at the point. But nonetheless, I was talking about my mother, and the treadmill or whatever. And so her thing was, that kind of walking, we could have been doing something and making the best of it. Okay. And that there was that. So again, when we're woke, what do we do? Okay, what do we do with the awareness? How do we grow? How do we matriculate? How do we get it to work for us? Okay, that there is the question. And when you come up with ideas, drop them in the comment section because, see, this is where we can learn from one another. Again, our lives are not our own. Okay, we are spiritual experiments, honey. We are spiritual cadavers for one another, honey. We are completely and utterly spiritual cadavers for one another. Because when we do a spiritual autopsy, honey, to see how this thing works, what we did, what we didn't do in order to get this thing moving, that there becomes the data that everybody uses to go out and understand the world, how we as humanity has done the thing. Okay, that there is very, very rich. Oh my God, that's hitting me, and every time I say it, it's like, Lord, wow, you just dropped that in my spirit, and that's huge. That there is huge. So now here's another question I want to throw at you, and that there is, who are our leaders? Who are our leaders? I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. Because oftentimes I don't, do we need them? Do we feel that we need them? Who is our next Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, who are our next? Okay. Hell, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. Who is the next Louis Farrakhan? Okay. Who are our leaders? And I'm asking that because do you realize that even though when stuff go down, folks are still looking for Al and Jesse to show up, and they can't. They do, but they can't. Okay, hell, Jesse is about ready to give up the ghost at any minute, honey. He's sitting up here battling with his own health and stuff lately. And you can see it in his face. He's tired. Okay. Al is doing his thing, honey, but he can't. Okay, with this rigorous schedule, he can't. And so the question is, who have we groomed to be in that place? Who's the next so-and-so? Who's going to take the baton and take it the next way around? To the next, because see, this is a relay race, people. Life is a relay race. It takes all of us. You got to run your part to go pass the baton to the next. And then when you pass the baton over, it's okay, you've done your run. I've done my run. Okay, I've got to leave it up to y'all to take it and do it. This is what this is. Are we afraid of where it may lead? Because oftentimes leaders are still looking for their message to come out of the young people's mouths. But times have changed. The times have changed. So now we have to see what is it that these kids are fighting for. I ask this all the time. Are blacks, our young black folks, I ask this of young gay folks, what is your fight today? What are we fighting for? Okay, what is it that we're fighting for? Because if you really want to know the truth about it, I don't think that we have an answer for it. Okay, outside of now, black folks, the young black folks are fighting. And, I was not on this whole fight of taking down these damn statues and carrying on because I thought that was dumb. I thought that was real stupid. Taking down that statue wasn't going to do shit but upset people. The statues were there. Where's the money to create the other statues? Okay, if these statues were here, where are the corresponding statues? If you just feel as though we just need to tell the history, we could have built statues and carried on, and hell, we could have had, a George Washington Carver or a Benjamin Banneker or Ida B. Wells or Sojourner Truth or something. We could have had those particular kind of statues up and erected to show, that there's a balance here. Yeah, these are slave owners that carried on, and society deemed them as good men. Okay, but what made them good? Okay, because the economy at that time was tanking. The Confederates wanted to defect. See, let me tell y'all something. And I want y'all to hear me very well. Because everything that we're going through right now is nothing but from the same playbook. When we talk about political stuff and carrying on, the world has been upset ever since Georgia became a blue state, honey. We got Georgia peaches, blue peaches. Okay. When we started that, Georgia has been upset. And if you pay attention, a lot of these southern states, which many of them are ran by Republicans, if you will, a lot of them take on the moniker of wanting to be Confederate states again. They're doing everything in their power to basically separate themselves from the federal government. The South has never wanted to be a part of this damn union. Never. And when we became a part of the union, when they became a part of the union, it has always become an upset, which is why the Confederacy was fighting against the damn North. So much so they printed their own damn money. How do you do that? The Confederate States had their own fucking money. They didn't want to be bothered with the North. But then they lost the war. The Civil War, honey, the South lost. All the Confederate States lost. So how is it that we're still trying to acknowledge them as an entity? Which is why I say, okay, where you at, young folks, because this is a fight that I have. There should be no way that anything in the South want to sit down and still fly a Confederate flag, because you are not a Confederate state anymore. Honey, you are a part of the United States of America. And everybody hollering about, oh, we have to preserve our history. We have to, okay, preserve it. Then go put that shit in the damn museum somewhere. That should not be here. So again, to my woke folks, now that this is going on, what have we done to put in place to say, no, this ain't the tea? What have we done? Outside of bitch, moan, complain, argue, and then go and tear down statues. Them tearing down them statues, honey, wasn't nothing but just aggravated damn teenagers or whatever who wanted to destroy some fucking property. So they sat down and fucked up these damn statues. But what did you put in its place? What are we going to put in its place? And is that the fight? Now, the children down here in Georgia, they want to go and they want to take this carving out of the damn mountain that had the 3 Confederate children up in there, okay? I forget who they are, okay? But these children are asking to remove it, which is the dumbest thing in history. Okay, no, that's not the dumbest thing, because the dumbest thing was actually somebody got up there. Could you imagine what that was to carve a mountain like that? And you talking back in the day, because the damn thing that happened during the era, honey, that was probably before my parents. Okay, so they didn't have the technology or the skills that they have now to hoist somebody up and this, that, and the other. Could you imagine what that was? They feared for their lives, child, to make that damn, to put that carving in that mountain. Okay. But now we sit up here talking about, we need to cut it out. Now, I was told, I got to look into this because this was told to me, and I trust the source, that what is happening is the children are fighting because Stone Mountain, here in Georgia, Stone Mountain was the capital and the meeting place for the Klan. Okay. As a matter of fact, the Daughters of the Confederacy, I think that's their name, they ended up doing something or another. They had some right to something over there. Okay. I don't know. They didn't buy the park. They got some kind of tie to it or whatever. But nonetheless, because of that, they're saying that, a lot of the taxes from DeKalb County, where it's all that and carrying on, the taxes are going to pay for that mountain. But what is happening is Black folks can't get up in there freely. There's some kind of twist to it. And I'm trying to paraphrase what I remember. But nonetheless, don't quote me 100% verbatim. Just know that this is what's going on. So if the city and Black folks are paying taxes into a park that really don't want you there, I'm told, I've never been to Stone Mountain Park, and just looked at it. I've rode by it and driven by it and carried on. I've never been inside the park. But they're saying that these fees and stuff are outrageous because they charging Blacks this, that, and the other, and I don't know that part to be true. However, what I do know is this: if this here is something that you want, then you have to go and petition to get what you want. Now, petitioning, honey, is not going to start right away and carrying on because you said. That's not how this works. You have to play the political game, because now it's hurry up and wait, or shut up and wait. Okay. And carrying on, because nobody wants to do the fucking work the right way. I won't say nobody. I'm just saying those who we have in office right now just don't want to do the work. So who are our leaders? Who are they? I'm going to challenge you and say you and me, we're the leaders. We're the ones who can get our ear to the ground and carry on. We're the ones with the social media blasts and carrying on and blase yakety spleen. We're the ones, and it's up to us to make sure and be sure that everything that we're fighting for is for us, by us. Okay? So on that note, honey, I'm gonna let you guys go because my eyes are starting to get a little heavy because I'm drinking this little drink and I had some food and my ass is starting to hurt in this chair. Okay. But nonetheless, I want to thank you guys for your love and your support and for being who you are to us, honey. Without you, there is no us. You understand? There is no us, honey. So, honey, listen, you may finish all of your crumpets because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darlings, with a big meat, honey. Oh my God, my God, my God, honey. Thank you for loving us. If you love us, tell all of your friends, honey, and your family and things to come on in, like, subscribe, share. Okay. Get this out there for us, honey. We're trying to build up our numbers and carry it on and all of those particular shenanigans, honey. But if you hate us, don't like what I had to say, don't like I cussed too much, don't like the hell I got half a grill in my mouth or whatever, okay? Because I need dental work. And I say, you know why I keep harping on that, y'all? Because I know it's a flaw, and I know somebody out there watching, but like, you snag a tooth, bitch, you raggedy mouth hole, whatever the case may be. Yes, we know that, but that's your issue now. And um until we sit up here and get it together, baby. Hey, it is what it is until, huh? Okay, so that's why I harp on it. For those of you, why you always talking about that? Because I know it's here, and I know what many of you will say, okay, or do, or whatever the case may be, huh? So in any event, honey, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. But like I said, if you hate us and just can't stand this or don't like that or whatever the case may be, you can tell all of your motherfucking enemies to come over here to like, subscribe, and to share. Because one of the things I need you guys to understand is this. You will understand that any and everything that we're doing over here at Three the Hard Way, the syndicate, because that's who we are. Any and everything that we're doing, honey, in any way, shape, style, form, or fashion will move forward, my darlings. So, honey, listen, it is Saturday night still. It's just before 11 o'clock, so you guys still got time to go and fluff your hair, put on some glad rags if you're trying to go out. If you're trying to go out and carrying on, so be that as it may. Okay. But nonetheless, honey, we're going to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You may finish all of your crumpets because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meats. In the absence of my co-host, Aunt Nikki, and the big red fella, honey, the big guy ally over there, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Remember, honey, today's lesson that came about that has just been very that way. You are a spiritual experiment, honey. You are the spiritual cadaver that all of us spiritually, honey, when we open up and take that spiritual autopsy, your story, everything about you, honey, is going to help and become the data for everybody else. You are a spiritual experiment, honey. Yes, God. Yes, God. That's why your life is not your own. Your life is for somebody else to learn from. Okay. That's why you go through what you go through, so that you can become the teacher and the lesson for somebody else. Hot diggity damn boom. So on that note, my darling, I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And good night. So, honey, and scene, darling.